Hi, I'm gonna talk today about Seattle, Washington, and I want to try to give my thoughts and opinion about the place. I have lived in Seattle um since 2013, and I was living there for 7 years. I would like to say that there are a lot of things to love about Seattle, and there's a lot of things to kind of hate about Seattle. Before I moved to Seattle, I was trying to do a lot of thorough research about okay, what are the pros and cons of living there. It just seems like there's a lot of disinformation about this cons and stuff. It's like people will say, "Oh, the cons, well, it just rains a lot," making it sound like if Seattle was actually perfect in any way. It's really not. And and I have came to visit Seattle again not too long ago. Probably a few weeks ago, I think. And so right now, I just feel like lots of things have changed, but not for the better. Um, when I was living in Seattle, I would say one of the pros of the Seattle, I would like to say this, is that there are a lot of beautiful nature around us. The forest, mountains, Mount Rainier, um, Mount St. Helen, and a lot of other places that are so absolutely beautiful. They have a lot of gardens of sorts, especially Japanese gardens. They seem to have quite a lot of those. There are also wonderful architects, architectures, and especially if you were to visit Seattle Public Library, the Seattle Central Library, which is in downtown. It's a very odd looking building, but a very wonderful looking building to go to and have a whole lot of books to find there. And going to the Space Needle was a very fascinating experience. The Space Needle did have some changes before I have moved out of Seattle. I remember that when you go outside onto I think a balcony, there's a ring around the entire Space Needle. I think it was mainly was like wires and fence, but now they're glass. And I did remember there being like a glass bench there either. And I just thought like if I were to try to rest on the side of the bench at that ramp, I would feel like I was about to start falling off. Even though I won't. But it's just kind of a funny feeling. I did not remember whether or not this was there before, but I never went down to the lower level of the Space Needle. And I wasn't sure if they had done this before they changed things or not, but they were kind of spinning around. It's like there's the top half. You would go around the place. Lots of just stuff in there. You go outside the balcony, you see the things around. Underneath is the kind of a plate that spins around. You go down there, and it's just like you're moving on that platform. You can feel it, see it happening. And there's glass floor where basically you will look down and just see specifically down below you, and it's just very interesting. There were a whole lot of wonderful places to try to visit. Lots of history that's just important to learn about. And I remember going to Ballard Locks, which um it's kind of hard. I mean, I made a video about that. They basically like have ships go in and out, and it's they're both kind of like have a kind of way of um, sending the ships into the Puget Sounds and the other way out. I think there was like salt water and the fresh water. And so they're kind of like, I could be wrong, so, but especially because the water and elevation and the other side elevation as well is like kind of like an elevator that would just kind of push up any ship that was on it would kind of rise up or rise down depending on which is the way they were going, which is kind of cool. I've never been on those things, but I've seen a lot of the boats that come in and that sort of stuff. I made a video about it, so um, and they would have a lot of salmon spawning. So again, there's like a whole lot of wonderful places to see in Seattle area, especially the outside of Seattle areas. Uh, the weather I would say is rather mild and very good, especially whether it's like summertime or even the wintertime. For the past 7 years when I was living there, it didn't snow much. It rarely snow at all, actually. Even when it does, it just lasts like for maybe a day or even at the most a week. And the sad thing too about when it does come to all the snow, it's like everybody suddenly forgot how to drive. I guess that could have been a con too, um, but the summertime, even at the worst heat, it's like barely at the 90s, but then it will drop down. The temperature will drop down quite a bit when sun starts setting down. It's like I could be able to go outside wear a coat in the morning or nighttime, and it can be quite cool to wear it. Of course, when the sun goes up, down, it's like afternoon or something like that. You probably couldn't be able to wear the jacket now, and that's right in the summertime. And so that's one of the things I really love about the weather. It's that kind of feeling because here in Arizona, it's just like scorching hot all year round. Even this winter, it's just non-existent. But I'm not talking about Arizona right now. But it's just a comparison. They have a lot of wonderful restaurants to eat at, and I have said it a couple times before. Is one of my favorite restaurants was Kisuki, which is a ramen restaurant, which is absolutely delicious. I mean, there's a lot of other ones that are delicious as well. So, I can't really say much for living in the Arizona or Seattle or something like that. So I guess because now I'm not sure what else to say about 48 Pros, but now I'm going to talk about the cons. Unfortunately, the cons are the most of the stuff. So the first one is taxation. Taxation is so very high, especially property taxes are the highest. And so yeah, it's like if you want to buy a house or even rent, a house will be like a $500,000 house, and it's like a teeny tiny little house with a tiny little postage stamp yard. So it's not impressive. And even if you think, well, I could still pay for like a $500,000 house anyway, or something like that, you will be paying the property taxes. You will be paying for upkeep. You're paying for a lot of other taxes. You'll be paying for a lot of stuff that is not even worth living there. So I know that I've seen some videos of people would say like, what would be the best places to live in, and they would say Seattle, like their top one or something. And I'm just like, no, absolutely not. That is a lie, and you're bad. No, because it is not a good place to live in. Even rent is insane. Okay, at the very lowest rent you can ever find would probably have been like I don't know, 1,300. Most likely, on average, it would have been like a 2,000 or 3,000 or even 4,000. And they're not even a really top quality apartments either. They're just like bad, especially if some places that are like, oh, this is look like a very lovely apartment complex or even a condo, but it doesn't have an installation or it has a lot of problems of other sorts. So, and you're still paying like $3,000, $3,000 for a place that doesn't have installation or or a lot of other stuff they probably didn't have done. So yeah, living there is insane. Don't buy into it that it's a good place to live in. It's a great place to visit. Absolutely, don't get me wrong. It's a wonderful place to visit. If anybody asks, yes, visit Seattle. It's a wonderful place to see. Just don't think you can live there. Trust me, it's not really affordable to live in. It's not good. And don't try to tell me, well, they have a very good education system, high literacy rates. Mm, I'm not even sure what's really going on, but it doesn't feel like that people are very highly literate. Especially because when you look at the crime rates, homelessness, which is probably not as bad as San Francisco or Los Angeles right now, but it's very, 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 very bad. It's like if you go to downtown, oh my god, it's like all the way down, probably from all the way from Everett, all the way down to SeaTac. You get homeless people after homeless people camps, homeless camps after homeless camps, more of those stuff. A bunch of them are on drugs. I'm not joking. I've seen some syringes. I've seen syringes on the floor. Not joking. And it's very bad. Yes, they like um having a lot of mental problems, like yelling at nobody particularly, just like screaming and rambling kind of thing. So, I mean, that's probably all the worst of it, I think. I mean, very few times some people would try to steal or try to defecate or urinate all over the place or something, but um, some violence, not too much. I mean, I've seen some violence happen in downtown, but it's just short-lived and not too bad. So it's not like you're gonna see death right there and then. It's just some fighting, but not too bad. But it's crazy, and the Seattle mayor and city councils are doing absolutely nothing, except they just want to defund the police. That's another thing. Seattle is extremely anti-police. It really is. Because you'll see it everywhere you see it. It's like, defund the police, F the police. All over the place, scribble all over graffitis. Graffitis are everywhere and it's insane. There's trash everywhere. Nobody's picking them up. Nobody's doing nothing but letting the entire place go to S. It's going to hell, basically. I mean, I don't know. It could all be changing. Maybe there are some things that are actually being done. I hope so, but I'm not holding my breath. So yeah, I covered taxation, high prices, homelessness, and yeah, there's crime. Like I said, most likely car theft and people would just like go to the grocery store and just steal stuff and walk right out in front of all witnesses. They will not even be ashamed about it. They would take beer bottles and just start walking off. You could be like, hey, you better pay for that. And they'll just flip you off and walk out like, you ain't gonna do nothing about me. I've seen it happen. I've worked in retail there. I've seen them do that all the time. And the older thing we could do is just like, hey, you gotta pay for this stuff. You gotta pay. Yeah. And the best you could do is just be like, call the police maybe. But again, like I said, back to whole defunding police and hating the police stuff. It's like people don't want to deal with the police, especially because people treat the police badly. Only because of what the media wants to sell you. Okay, I have seen the police; they were not bad people. I can't say about like, oh, they're not racist or they're not, they're doing a perfect job or I can't say one way or another about that. But it's not as so horribly bad that we need to get rid of the police as they act like. But most of the time, especially because most police officers are just be like, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I'm just trying to do my job. I'm just trying to do my job. And people are just like screaming at me, being like, I'm a racist and I should die, pig, and stuff like that. I'm out. I'm done. I'm just gonna transfer to another state, maybe Idaho or something like that. It is really happening. I mean, yeah, it's like I've read an article of a female police officer who's like, gets a call. She was trying to find out what's going on. Okay, there was a couple of Hispanic children just talking or whatever else. She's like, okay, what's going on? I mean, I don't think there was been anything going on. She didn't try to arrest him or hassle or anything. And some idiot decided to start filming her and saying, you're racist, you're racist. All she did was just talk. There was nothing going on but just talking. Just going to the call because someone called for the cops. Yes, like, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the officers does. They're automatically bad no matter what. Another thing too is I've noticed recently was, before this would have been not a big problem, but the prices of inns, hotels, and motels, they are well above 100 a night. Especially, on average, 200 a night. And these are not your like wealthy top 5-star hotels. They're the Motel 6. They are the lowest of the low 1-star motels that are infested with roaches, has prostitution and crime rent place, and they are charging you 200 for the night. Not joking. Not joking. Check it out. Check out the prices of the inns in Seattle. Not kidding. You might say, well, there's some that are actually like maybe about a 60 or even an 80. Yeah, they're outside of Seattle. And again, it's extremely rare to find such thing. Most likely they will already be all booked because nobody can afford to pay like $150 a night. And this is why I thought too, is like, if you want to try to go to Seattle and stay for several days there, don't bother renting a room in an inn. Trust me on this. You might as well just be paying for an apartment. Okay, trust me. Because if you do the math, like say it's like 100 a night, that would probably have been like maybe 3,000, if I'm wrong on that math. 3,000. That's an apartment. That would have been a monthly house. And all I can say is most likely because of the taxation that's going through the roof there. And so I would say camp. Just go find a campground somewhere if you can't afford it. I mean, if you can afford to spend like several hundreds of dollars for several nights in a hotel, if you can afford that, be my guest. But don't get surprised when you're not getting the best service there. Um, Another con down there is um, public transportation. Public transportation is like a mental institution on wheels. I've said this so many times before when I was living there because people on that bus, there will be people that will be like screaming, rambling, yelling, and basically kind of like yelling at you or at the bus driver about you. I've seen this happen, especially when you haven't even done anything. They're just talking about stuff that aren't happening. I've heard a crazy lady, and I know I'm probably being rude about it, but trust me, it's bad. I remember her just screaming at no one in particular, especially about like her underwear. Give me back my underwear. Like I don't think anybody has her underwear, so I'm thinking she is needing a mental um, therapy and help. Something she should have been in a um, behavioral health hospital. She should have been in that one instead of just being out on the street. I have seen some people who would just like start being very vulgar and attacking people. Homeless people will attack people on the roads. Uh, it's just ridiculous. And I was saying about buses. Yep. Bus drivers don't try to do anything. They really don't. They it seems like they either can't or won't. I don't know. Especially when you get people who are just like screaming at the top of their lung for no reason, and nobody does anything about it. Um, I remember there was this woman being sexually harassed. Um, my partner and I have saw this happening. We try to tell the bus driver about it. So again, it's like the bus driver's not doing anything, and it's like I'm not sure what's going on. This pig is sexually harassing this poor girl, and I'm just like, what is going on? You know what? I'm gonna try to do something, even though I really don't want to try and get myself killed. I will not get myself killed for anybody, but I'm just like, okay, look, get away from her. He's like, of course he was drunk, so, and of course he got away, walk away from her. So I'm just like, not trying to be a hero. I am not a white knight. I'm not an SJW. I'm not any of this stuff. I'm not someone who's like, oh, I'm a white knight. Oh, rescue me, milady. No, no. But I am not gonna sit there and watch somebody harass or assault or anything to anybody. No. It's just depressing when bus drivers don't do a damn thing about it. Other things too is like you could be just asking for a seat. Most likely these people will just be like, no. You could be an elderly woman who's in a walker. You're standing up on a moving bus. You want a seat. Someone would just be like, no. The bus driver won't do anything about it. Nobody else will do anything about it. And especially if someone you were trying to ask for a seat, the person was saying no. Of course, that could have been just being out of it fine, but they decided they'll start verbally assaulting you for no reason at all. You don't know them from Adam. You don't know why they are attacking you. You just ask for a seat, and they'll just attack you verbally. And the bus driver is not going to do anything about it. The best they would just say was like, well, you just got places to go to. I'm sorry, but I don't care. I mean, these are just one of the few examples. There are gazillions of problems on buses. This is why I say they are a mental institution on wheels. They're just without any medical staff, fortunately. And no security either. So yeah, like I said, there's more of the cons about Seattle than the pros. So, like I said, it's wonderful to visit. but not a good idea to live in. Unless you are a liberal or you're filthy rich. Trust me, you have to be rich to live in Seattle now. You really have to. Because if you're dirt poor, forget it. The best you could get is living in the street or find some homeless shelter that'll take you. That's it. So there's that. And if you, even when you people say, "Oh, well, there's Section 8, there's a housing assistance," yeah, that's the thing. You have to be on the wait list for years. Where are you living? That street for years, and chances are you will never get a place to live ever in Seattle. You might as well not even bother. Oh, and believe me, I've been on assisted housing, and it was the worst thing ever. Because even though it's like uh, paying less, but you're not paying 30% of your income. They like to say they do, but they don't. Because here's the thing. I remember when I was working, I was getting $50 an hour minimum wage, and I think the rent would probably have been like, the monthly money I would get would be like, um, I forget. I can't get the exact accurate number on the top of my head right now, but let's just say it's like maybe about 1,700 a month. They will charge you about maybe 500 or 600 a month. That's a little more than half of your income. That will also mean that you will have to pay a lot more for the food, a lot more for the bills, which means you have no money. Trust me, even on Seattle housing assistance I was on, I had no money after paying the rent, food, bills. I had nothing. And they will do um, checkups and other things, especially when they say like, "Oh, we'll do a checkup for like a yearly checkup or uh, bi-yearly or something like that." They will actually check up several times a month. They're kind of lying to you. They lie to you about everything. They're trying to be like, "Okay, well, we gotta have to do this. We gotta have to do this. We gotta have to do this. We gotta have to do this." You've been trying to do this for like what 4 months in the 4 times in a month. It's like you have no privacy. You don't feel like you actually have a home. You don't feel like you're even like you could be by yourself anymore. And it will also block off your exit from home. I remember this happening. They were like, "Well, we're gonna have to wax floor, and you cannot leave the apartment. You can't just get out of your apartment." Sorry, it's dark right now. The car light just decided, nope, I'm gonna be off. Um, so you're not gonna see me. Sorry, but hopefully you can still hear me. Um, yeah, just like the waxing of the floor, and they will even put like tape around your door, keeping you inside. What if you have to go to the hospital, or go to work, or go someplace? They bar you in, and you cannot leave, or you'll be in trouble. That's that's the housing assistance for you. So yeah, it's like no, don't bother with housing assistance in Seattle. I can't speak for any other housing assistance in any other places, so I can't say. Maybe they're better. I don't know. That's just my thought. Um, I guess for now, since the light decided to go out, um, I'm just gonna cut this video short for right now, since Buster says it's about to be 30 minutes. So thank you for listening, and there's probably a lot more anyway, but thank you for listening, and enjoy your day.